What's up, guys? Time for another video. Today we're going over the 3 types of skinny guys. Which one are you? Alright, so just so you know, I've been there. I've been skinny before, and I've gone from skinny to shredded. And I've also been fat too. So I've been fat and I've gone from fat to shredded. And I've done that multiple times. I've done all of that completely drug-free, completely natural. And I've also helped countless other people do the same thing. I've helped skinny guys put on weight, and I've also helped overweight guys also lose weight. I've been lifting for over 15 years now of completely natural, drug-free training. So I've got plenty of experience in the gym, and I've also, over the past decade, done a decade's worth of research on my own. So that's, reading articles, reading books, reading published papers, documentaries. I spent thousands of dollars on courses over the years. So, this is my life. This is what I do. I do this on my downtime too. I'll spend my downtime watching videos and learning more about this kind of stuff. So with today's video, I want you to learn a couple things. I want to go over how you can build some long, lasting, natural, significant natural muscle. I want to get over your skinny type identity, and I want you to stop feeling conscious that we can go out in the public knowing you're a strong, confident dude, and you're happy. You're happy with your actual physique. So for the video, we'll try to keep it real quick. We'll try and cut to the chase. I want to outline some distinct types of skinny guys that I usually see. Out of those 3 guys, you might recognize yourself as one of them. I'll go over some core mistakes that each type makes, and most importantly, I want to help you find an empowering path for consistent, sustainable, actual muscle growth. That way, you aren't just changing your body, but you're changing who you are. Okay, just a heads up, if any of this stuff sounds cool to you guys, I've got plenty more info just like it in the description, in the link in the description below, so feel free to check that out. Okay, let's go over the types. It'll be 3 types. We'll go over them real quick. Let me get my tablet out. I was going to draw a little bit for you guys, I think. We'll go over the 3 types. Let's see. 3 types. Number 1. Going to be the busy but baffled guy. Number 2 is going to be the dirty bulk disaster guy. And number 3, the 3rd type we're going to go over is the lone wolf loser skinny guy. Makes sense. Those are the 3 we're going to go over, and I'll try to keep them pretty quick if I can. Okay, so let's go over number 1, the busy but baffled guy. The core idea here is that this guy, he hits the gym. He puts in the time, but for, bad reasons, he's completely lost. He's doing random workouts. This guy, he might be hopping between programs, constantly changing exercises, and he probably overthinks his diet, which can, tend to lead to 0 consistent progress. He's busy, and he's completely baffled. If that sounds like you, that's pretty bad. Let's talk about it, and we'll talk about some steps that you can take. So the mistake is a lack of structured, progressive plan or information overload. So how do you solve this? How do you solve this problem? You can solve this problem with a clear, step-by-step blueprint and simplifying the whole process. So what does that mean? It means taking all this information that you can learn out there from the internet, from all these different gurus, or maybe these different programs, and instead of hopping from program to program or listening from guru to guru, simply pick one program, and I want you to stick to it for a few months, maybe 1 to 3 months. I would even say 2 to 3 months. If you don't give these programs that you're trying enough of a chance, then it's hard to track your actual results. So you need to actually give it some time and put some time into it and check if it's actually working. Just some brief history. I used to be this guy too. I would go from program to program. I'd find programs on Reddit, programs on YouTube, even programs on Instagram, and I would never stick to one of them long enough to actually see results. I'd find all this conflicting info online on these different videos, and basically I was getting analysis paralysis, and I didn't know which to choose, and I didn't know which one was the best. So yeah, I did feel busy, but how important or how effective was I really being with my time? So eventually, once I picked one and I stuck to it for a few months, I think I did a program. When I first did this, I think I did a program for like 3 months, and I followed everything to the T, and I actually started to see significant results. Okay, that's it for number one. Let's move on real quick. Let's go on to number two. Number two is the dirty bulk disaster. Dirty bulk disaster. The core idea here, let's start a new page, is that this guy, maybe it's you, if you typically underestimate how much you eat, and you're probably constantly complaining about your fast metabolism, or maybe you swing to the other side completely, like the other extreme, and you try to dirty bulk and you're just eating pure junk. Maybe they drink all the time too and get pure drunk, which is a lot of calories on top of that. But a lot of guys that do this whole dirty bulk thing, although they might get bigger, they gain significant amounts of fat, which often leads to the frustration of being skinny fat, or you might end up being just perpetually small. So, what are the steps you can take to solve this? The dirty bulk disaster. What do you do here? The mistake that you're most likely making if you're dirty bulking and you're struggling as that guy, as a skinny guy, it's likely from like ignoring your calories and ignoring your macronutrients, along with making poor food choices. So, for example, dirty bulking, if you're not tracking your calories, there's a good chance you're overeating and you're getting fat. And on the other hand of that, if you're not tracking your calories, there's a good chance you're not eating enough calories on the other side, which often leads to you staying skinny and not putting on any actual size. So, how do we solve this? Number one, you need to actually learn how to track your calories. And this is pretty simple. I can show you how to do it. If you want to learn, just hit me up below, or you can comment down below and ask me to make a video. It's super easy. Basically, you figure out your maintenance calories, and if you're trying to gain size as a young natural skinny guy, you figure out your maintenance calories. You add about 500 calories to that, and you keep working out, and basically you start seeing gains. It's as simple as that. So for example, if your maintenance calories is 3,000, all you simply do is add 500 to that, which would be your surplus, and that will give you gains. Super easy. The second thing to focus on if you're this guy, the dirty bulk disaster guy, is start picking better food choices. You want to pick A quality food choices. So for an example that is, instead of eating all that junk food all the time, which although is plenty of calories and will probably, help you gain some weight, it's not the kind of weight you want, and you're going to feel like crap. So you want to stick to healthier food choices. That's basically any type of whole foods. If you're trying to put on size, you can stick to some some real dense calorie carbs like your rice and your oatmeal. That stuff is going to help you put on weight because they're super dense in calories. And then for protein sources, stick to the whole foods as well there. So, it's okay to drink protein shakes here and there, but if you can, try to get your protein from whole foods, you'll just feel better. That's going to be like your steak, your beef, your chicken, your shrimp, your fish, all of that good stuff. For my example, I used to bounce between these two extremes myself for a minute. I was underestimating how much I ate, and I wasn't tracking my calories to begin with. So once I did finally start tracking, I found out that I wasn't eating enough at all. And then on the other hand, I used to dirty bulk pretty hard too, just because I was trying to put on size as fast as possible. And, you know, I did get kind of big, but I also got a ton of fat on top of that, and it took me a long time to cut all that fat because I was putting on weight way too quickly. Okay, we're going to move on. Let's go over number 3, the third type. See, the third type of skinny guy that I often see is the lone wolf loser. So, what is the main idea with the lone wolf loser? It is that this guy knows some stuff. You know, if this is you, you might have a decent routine. You might be having a little bit of results, but you're trying to do it all alone. And when you're trying to do this alone, sometimes it's hard and you can start to lack motivation. There's a good chance you're starting to struggle with some self-doubt. And, you know, you might be hitting plateaus. Your lifts might be hitting plateaus and you don't really have a support system. So this can tend to lead to you quitting. And you kind of repeat the cycle of frustration because you quit, you lose your gains, then you have to start over. And then it starts working again and you back on it, but then you start to lose that motivation again and you quit and you start over again. So what are the mistakes that often are made by this type of skinny guy? It is going to be a lack of accountability, limiting beliefs, and some inconsistent discipline. Lack of accountability, limiting beliefs, and inconsistent discipline. So, let's get right into it. How can we solve these issues? It's pretty simple. Basically, what you're going to need is you're going to need a strong mindset and supportive community. So let's go over strong mindset. For strong mindset, you basically want to train yourself to build a discipline to constantly go to the gym and consistently go to the gym. That way, even when you don't feel like it, you've already built that habit that you've been going for so long that even when you don't feel like going, your body and mental is just trained to go anyway. But even then, there's going to be times when your motivation starts lacking. And no matter how disciplined you are, there's going to be times where you really don't want to go. And that's when you can rely on systems that you have created that basically enforce your habit of going to the gym. So, for example, that could be a system like creating like a progress tracker. So that could be like a spreadsheet where like you track all the days you go to the gym, and say you track your lifts there too, you track your PRs, you track your the goals you're hitting. If you have something like that and you've been filling it out for a long time and it comes to a time where you want to skip the gym, having a system like that can help you rely on helping you get to the gym because you don't want to be like missing a certain chunk in your progress tracker from that day. So it's good to have systems like that that will help motivate you and help you keep accountable for going to the gym. The next thing to focus on is a supportive community. Having a supportive community is super important too for your fitness journey, especially if you're a beginner at this. You know, you're a young, natural, drug-free, skinny guy who's trying to put on actual, real, natural muscle. Having a supportive community is super important because you're new to this. You know, you haven't quite yet seen the results. So, sorry, my dog is messing around. You want to be able to have people to rely on that can help motivate you and answer your questions. Because when you're new to this, like I said, it's really hard. And oftentimes you're going to have questions. And if you rely on going to the internet for your answers, there's going to be so many conflicting answers out there, like I mentioned earlier, from all these different gurus. You're not going to know who to trust. So it's important to find people who know what they're doing, find people who have done this before, find people who have had success in this realm before, and it's going to make things super easy. So yeah, no, I think we're good. I think we hit all 3 types real quick. Let's summarize over the 3 types that we went over. We went over the busy, baffled guy. We went over the dirty bulk disaster guy. And we went over the lone wolf loser guy. 1, 2, 3. So if you were one of those guys, hopefully you had something to learn from this video. If this kind of information sounds cool and you want to learn more, I have a complete A to Z program that is specifically crafted and designed for young, natural, skinny, drug-free guys who are trying to put on muscle. Inside the program and community, you can find things like guides on nutrition, guides on mindset, because like I just mentioned, mindset is super important. Guides on recovery as well. Recovery is about 50-50 when it comes to like how important the gym and training and recovery is. So I say, your training is half of it and your recovery is the other half if you want to get actual gains. Inside, there's a private school community too, where you can be surrounded by like-minded individuals who are in the same boat as you, have the same goals as you. So you'll be around other guys who are also young, natural, skinny guys who are trying to put on natural muscle too. There's also guaranteed consistencies with active support to keep you motivated. So that's going to be support from me, support from others. You can get direct access to me. So if you feel free, if you need, if you've got questions, you can text me at any time and I can help you with that. I can answer any questions you may have. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's about it. If any of that stuff sounds just interesting, there is a link in the description below. Feel free to check that out. You can book a free strategy call with me. It's completely free. It's one-on-one. We can talk about your goals. We can talk about what's been working for you, what hasn't been working for you, and we can just sort of discuss things. So if that sounds cool, like I said, link in the description below. Feel free to hit me up. If not, I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you learned something. Peace out.